You understand this isn't personal, right? It was the headmaster's request. That's what Marcia from HR said. Like that was supposed to soften it. Like handing me a box of my own severed head with a smile. I just stared at her, nodded once, then reached for my bag. No breakdown, no gasping for air. I didn't give them the satisfaction. I'd spent 16 years at Rose Hill Academy, stayed late during snowstorms, rewrote press releases at midnight to cover up their messes, held hands with weeping parents who had no clue their kid's college letter was padded like a damn throw pillow. And now they were kicking me out with a tight-lipped HR drone blaming the headmaster's request. Quick note, before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? I stood up slowly, brushing invisible lint off my skirt. My office key was still warm in my pocket. No handshake. No thank you for the PR campaigns I cleaned up after their football scandal, or when the donor's kid got caught cheating and I helped spin it into a learning opportunity. Just that cold-ass line and the look Marcia wouldn't meet. I walked out with my head up. The hallway felt too bright. My shoes echoed, doors stayed half closed. Colleagues I'd shared late-night coffees with wouldn't even look me in the eye. One guy, Robert from admissions, actually turned down another hall like I was contagious. I smiled to myself. That was Rose Hill for you. Loyalty only mattered until it got uncomfortable. I had a list of students who should have been expelled, reports I'd been told to reformat, and more than one email thread full of nervous lies. But they thought they were cutting me loose clean. I stopped at my office just once before heading out. Everything was still in place. The framed photos, the little ceramic dog someone gave me at my 10-year mark. But one thing in that desk drawer was locked for a reason. The green file. Thin but dense with truth. I didn't take it with me. I left it right where it belonged, back left drawer, locked, key in my pocket. Data reports, complaint logs, handwritten notes from faculty too scared to go on record. I had a plan, and it didn't involve begging for my job back. I closed the office door behind me for the last time, didn't say goodbye to a soul, and walked out into the parking lot like I'd just left a meeting. Let them think I walked away empty-handed. The first thing I grabbed was the dog photo. It was propped against my monitor, half covered by a sticky note from last week. Update SAT comp slide. Didn't matter now. I peeled it off and crumpled it. Then came the mug. I survived another meeting that could have been an email. Gift from a former intern. The handle had a hairline crack I never fixed. I wrapped it in a napkin from my drawer and dropped it into the small cardboard box Marcia had left for me, like a coffin for whatever dignity I had left. The last thing was the plaque. 10 years in, they gave me a piece of cheap wood with my name engraved and a brass tag that read, "For your loyalty and dedication, Rose Hill Academy." I pulled it off the shelf and flipped it over. Still had the original price sticker, $12.99. My screen was still on. Faculty portal wide open. I hadn't even logged out before the meeting. Just went in, got the knife, and came back to my desk like nothing happened. The cursor blinked in the corner of an unfinished email. I closed the lid. Then I opened the drawer. The green folder sat flat against the bottom, slim but heavy with names, timelines, signatures. I stared at it for a long second. It hadn't moved. No one had touched it. It was still right where I left it, tucked under blank letterhead and old disciplinary slips we weren't supposed to file. Inside were 3 years' worth of doctored transcripts, parent complaints swept under the rug, and emails between department heads talking in code. Every time we faked a GPA bump or slid a mediocre student into a university they had no business getting into, I logged it. Quietly, consistently. It wasn't revenge, it was insurance. I closed the drawer and locked it, pulled the key from my keychain. Instead of keeping it, I placed it dead center on the desk. Then I wrote a note in my cleanest handwriting and stuck it next to the key. Final review pending. Let them wonder what it meant. As I turned to leave, I looked around one last time. My office had that frozen-in-time feeling. Same smell of dry printer paper and overworked air freshener. My coat still hung on the back of the chair. The blinds were half tilted the way I liked them, sun bleeding across the carpet. I didn't touch anything else. I stepped into the hallway, and that's when I saw them. New posters lined up along the wall. Bright colors, big fonts. Words I'd written 6 months ago at the headmaster's request. We don't just educate, we empower. Excellence through integrity, where the truth finds a future. I kept walking. Somewhere in the building, someone was probably unboxing a new nameplate for my office. Maybe a half-assed welcome email had already gone out. The gears kept turning, even when people fell through. As I passed the admin wing, a voice called out softly from behind a door. "Good luck, Diane." Didn't even catch who said it. Maybe someone decent, maybe someone scared. I didn't stop. Didn't need a pity send-off from the same crowd who'd zipped their mouths shut this morning. When I hit the front doors, I didn't look back. I tossed the box on my kitchen table and went straight for the wine. Didn't even take off my shoes. Just popped the cork and filled the glass higher than I should have. My dog, Finn, trotted over and sat at my feet, tail thumping once against the cabinet. I gave him a pat and took the glass to my laptop. The screen lit up. Same login screen I'd used every morning for years. Username, password. No error. No lockout. I was still in. I clicked straight to the faculty portal and pulled up the latest internal release, Rose Hill's annual progress report. They'd posted it that afternoon, probably while I was packing up my mug like an idiot. The document opened in a new tab, 44 pages, heavy on graphics, charts with no y-axis labels, photos of happy students in front of buildings I knew they hated, paragraph after paragraph of empty praise and fake momentum. Graduation rates continue to soar. 99% college placement rate achieved for the class of 2025. 0 reported incidents of academic misconduct this semester. Bullshit, every word of it. I clicked out, went into my drive, and opened the real report. Mine was 21 pages, plain text, no color, just data. Raw, unedited, and accurate. GPA histories cross-checked with original assignments. Screenshots of admin threads ordering us to bump borderline students. Protected names redacted, barely. Disciplinary records marked handled internally that were anything but. The names of the worst offenders were familiar. The quarterback, the top donor's daughter, the boy whose mom chaired the auction committee. I took another sip, steadied my hand, and clicked upload. The school's mass notification system was still connected to my account. I'd set up most of the system myself 2 years ago. Nobody had thought to boot me from it yet. Idiots. I flagged the document with internal priority, attached it to the academic review archive list. Auto-sends to every active faculty member, school board address, and parent subscriber. Then I scheduled it. August 22nd, 7:59 a.m. 1 minute before the headmaster's big virtual town hall. The invite was still on my calendar, a vision for the future. I could already hear his voice, dripping with PR polish. I saved the cue. No bounce back. No flags. Still in. I sat back, stared at the screen for a second, then clicked the lid shut. Finn nudged my knee. I scratched behind his ear and drained the glass. They thought they'd erased me by kicking me out, but they forgot I built half the machine they were running, and tomorrow morning, it was going to eat them alive. Finn whined once, so I grabbed the leash off the hook and we headed out. The air was thick and warm, the kind of late August night that clung to your skin. The sidewalks were quiet, porch lights glowing soft in the dark. Finn trotted ahead, tail up, happy to forget the weight of the day. I didn't second-guess it. Not once. They wanted me gone, fine. But they didn't get to bury the truth with me. We hit the corner and turned down the next block. I pulled out my phone and opened Rose Hill's main page. Still no lockout. Still logged in. Portal access, active. Admin credentials, still intact. Idiots. I switched tabs and checked their social feeds. They'd just posted a photo carousel. Cheesy shots of smiling staff around a conference table. Caption read, "Fall planning in full swing. We're thrilled to welcome our newest team member, Elise Morgan, to the Rose Hill family." And there she was. Elise, bright-eyed, probably 28, maybe 30 if she stretched it. Blazer too crisp, smile a little too eager. The kind of look you only had when you hadn't seen the inside of a cover-up yet. I tapped through her post. So honored to join the legendary Rose Hill Academy team. Can't wait to learn from the best. Jesus, the best at what? She was probably sitting at my old desk right now, organizing pens, thinking she'd landed her dream job. Poor kid had no idea what was buried under those motivational posters. I didn't hate her. Honestly, I felt sorry for her. I kept walking. Finn stopped to sniff a fire hydrant, tail swaying, oblivious. I opened the notification dashboard again and checked the schedule. Still there. Still greenlit. Report. Faculty review. Final status. Queued for dispatch. Scheduled. August 22nd, 7:59 a.m. Untouched. Unretracted. Not even a login alert to show someone had tried to remove it. They hadn't even noticed it was sitting in the system, ticking like a timer. I stuffed the phone in my pocket and tugged Finn along. We passed the local library, the old bakery with the flickering sign, then circled back home. The porch light buzzed above me as I unlocked the door. Tomorrow was going to be loud. But tonight, quiet was enough. I was up before the sun. Didn't need an alarm. Just opened my eyes and stared at the ceiling for a few seconds before rolling out of bed. Hoodie on, hair a mess, no makeup, no need. Finn stayed curled in his bed, one eye open, watching me move like he knew something was up. I poured black coffee and sat down at the kitchen table, flipping open the laptop. 6:58 a.m., I logged into the system. Still in. Still no revoke. No flagged access. The portal opened like I was still on payroll. I navigated to the notification dashboard and just stared at the queue. The file sat there, unchanged, right where I left it. My fingers hovered for a second, not to cancel anything, just to see it. Status, scheduled dispatch time, 7:59 a.m. Recipients, all faculty, admin, board, parent subscribers. I sipped my coffee and waited. The kitchen clock ticked like a slow metronome. The air was still, no movement from outside. It felt like the last calm second before a fuse hits the powder. Then, at 7:59 on the dot, the screen blinked. Sent. No fireworks, no explosion. Just a quiet refresh. But under the surface, it was already starting. I opened the analytics panel. View logs started popping. Fast. Headmaster Jameson opened 8 a.m. Board Chair Meredith Long opened 8:01 a.m. Dr. Patel, Superintendent, opened 8:02 a.m. Parent Subscriber, Columbia, Maryland. Donor Tag, Tier 1, K. Wallace Alumni Watch List, Boston, Massachusetts Media Watch. Tag, Education Reform Alliance, Local Press. Match, The Maryland Chronicle. 8 minutes in and the names just kept rolling. No reactions yet, no calls, no emails. But I could see the list building. Every view, every scroll tracked by the system. Some people clicked straight through to the appendix. Others lingered on the GPA analysis. A few stopped at the email thread labeled Internal Grade Adjustment Protocol. Do not share. That one always made me laugh. Do not share like it was a napkin sketch, not an open conspiracy to sell fake merit. Finn finally patted over and rested his head on my foot. I rubbed his ear and refreshed the dashboard. The numbers climbed. I didn't edit a word. Didn't attach a note. No commentary. I let the raw stats and copied emails do the heavy lifting. Let the truth talk without me standing behind it. This wasn't about payback. It wasn't some dramatic mic drop. It was data. Public, provable, impossible to spin. The school had spent years burying numbers behind glossy pamphlets and alumni brunches. They trained us to dress lies in good lighting and scripted talking points. I just stripped all that away. I refreshed the panel again. Another round of views lit up. Watch list hit, National Education Monitor. Board member proxy log, 3 new opens, parent group thread match. Urgent, please read this. I leaned back, coffee still warm, and watched it roll in. By 8:58, I was back at the kitchen table with a fresh cup of coffee and the Zoom link open. The town hall call had close to 200 people in it before the hour even turned. Faculty names, parent accounts, trustee logins, a few anonymous tiles that screamed, reporter pretending to be alumni. Jameson Square lit up in the top row. Headmaster, suit and tie, sitting too stiff in front of a blurred background. His mic was off. His eyes didn't move much. He looked like a man waiting for an ambush he knew was coming. I muted myself. Camera off. Just another ghost in the attendee list. 8:59. The timer hit 0. Then came the voice from Admin IT. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining the Rose Hill Academy 2025 Vision Town Hall. We'll begin shortly. They tried to roll into the usual intro, a warm thank you for continued support and strong community partnerships, but it died fast. The Q&A chat exploded. Parent, class of 2026. What are these unreported disciplinary incidents? Alumni donor, 95. Is the GPA inflation claim accurate? Board member proxy, Long Family Trust. Please clarify the internship falsification. Faculty, anonymous. Why were we told the SAT averages were rising? The moderator's voice faltered. We'll address questions during the designated segment. Excuse me. It was Meredith Long, board chair. Her camera turned on, jaw set like concrete. Can someone explain these numbers? Silence. Jameson unmuted, cleared his throat. Yes, thank you, Chair Long. I'd like to begin by emphasizing the incredible achievements our school has made over the past academic year. While we acknowledge that data may appear inconsistent when taken out of broader operational context, which context is that exactly? That was a parent, one of the ones who always bragged about being hands-on in the school's future. Because the context I'm reading says my daughter's GPA doesn't match what's on her transcript. Jameson blinked. Those records are subject to standard academic adjustments under faculty discretion. Standard? Someone else snapped. So inflating GPAs is standard now? Excuse me, another parent cut in. Can you speak to why Title IX complaints were suppressed? Jameson fumbled. We take all allegations seriously. However, certain reports require internal review procedures that, in some cases, delay formal logging, so they were real. I didn't say that. You kind of did, said another voice. Then came the first laugh. Sharp, dry, not friendly. The kind of laugh people do when something disgusting finally gets aired out. The moderator tried again. We ask that everyone keep their questions concise and respectful. Meredith raised a hand, calm but not friendly. Let's not deflect. The report circulating this morning, was that sanctioned by this administration? Jameson paused. I could see the panic hit him like a pulse under the collar. The report appears to be a manipulated document, likely distributed by a disgruntled former employee with a vendetta. I smiled. There it was. The playbook. Blame the leak, not the truth. Which parts were manipulated? Meredith asked, voice steady. Be specific. Jameson floundered. I can't confirm line by line without further internal review, but I can assure you our integrity remains intact, and we are committed to transparency moving forward. Someone coughed, long, awkward, right into their mic. Then came another question, then another. A woman in New York asked about the donor kid who got caught plagiarizing but was still listed as a leadership scholar. A man from the Alumni Fund wanted to know why community service hours had been reallocated in transcripts. A teacher finally spoke up, saying their warnings had been ignored for over a year. The floodgates were wide open. Jameson started leaning forward, words falling faster, trying to bury contradictions in bureaucratic buzzwords. Holistic standards, contextual review models, student-first forward metrics. The more he talked, the worse it got. I sipped my coffee and watched it unravel in real time. They weren't looking at him like they used to, not with deference, not even disappointment. They looked pissed, duped, embarrassed, and the questions just kept coming. By the time I got back from pouring cereal, they were neck-deep in the appendix. The spreadsheet links had made their way into the town hall chat. Not copies, my original file. Full breakdowns, grade trends over 3 years, repeated parent complaints, side-by-side comparisons of public statements versus internal decisions. I'd labeled everything clean and direct. GPA overwrites, class of 2024. Disciplinary exceptions, legacy admissions. Unreported Title IX flags, not logged to SIS. Jameson looked frozen. His mouth moved, but nothing coherent came out. Then one of the tiles unmuted. A square labeled Jonathan W. Donor, executive trustee. He wasn't a man who usually spoke in public calls. When he did, people listened. My daughter's file is on page 19, he said flatly. I was told her summer internship at Franklin Bio was verified by the school. Jameson fumbled through his desk. We rely on self-reporting and parent confirmation for certain non-academic enrichment. So it was fake? I wouldn't characterize it as, you mean to tell me my name, my money, and my trust were used to back falsified student records? No answer. I've donated 6 figures every year, Jonathan said. I deserve more than spin. He killed his mic. Another voice jumped in. Female, older, clipped speech. Why weren't these Title IX concerns brought to the board? Jameson tried to look shocked. We follow FERPA guidelines and confidentiality protocols, so not all reports are escalated to the board. These were patterns, not isolated. Then a staff voice finally, I filed 2 of those. They went nowhere. He glanced down, eyes darting to a second screen. I could tell exactly what he was doing, grabbing an old statement, trying to read it like it still meant something. His voice wobbled. At Rose Hill Academy, we uphold the highest standards of. No one was buying it. The chat lit up with screenshots, quotes pulled from the report, timestamps matching emails with contradicting faculty responses. Why is the college placement report overstated? What happened to the cheating incidents logged last spring? Why are transcripts being altered after graduation? I spooned another bite of cereal, milk dripping down my thumb. The school's reputation was going up in flames in real time. I clicked over to Twitter. It had started small, parents posting screenshots with tight, pissed-off captions, but now hashtags were forming. Rose Hill Truth, Transcript Gate. Protect your kids, the Maryland Chronicle posted a thread. Breaking. Leaked report reveals academic fraud, disciplinary cover-ups at elite prep school. Board silent. Another one followed. Education Reform Alliance had picked it up too. They flagged it under ongoing investigations. I refreshed the Zoom. The headmaster was now reading directly from the school's spring press kit. It was word for word, same garbage I wrote before I knew how deep the rot went. He didn't even try to change it. Rose Hill is committed to fostering a safe, inclusive, and rigorous learning environment. Then why is my kid's name in a fake commendation letter? Someone snapped. He went quiet. Another parent. This is going to accreditation. And the press. A staffer. I'm not going down with this. I muted the call, leaned back in my chair, and finished my cereal. They had no script for this, no email chain to hide behind, no fake survey to wave in the air, just raw black and white data burning through the center of everything they tried to bury. And I hadn't said a word. By lunchtime, it was out of their hands. Baltimore Now ran a breaking segment just after noon. Elite Maryland boarding school under fire for falsified records, suppressed complaints. They showed clips of the school's marketing videos, ones I helped write, sliced against bullet points from my report. 2 hours later, the Chronicle of Higher Ed published a piece, Transcript Games and Title Non-Red Flags, What Went Wrong at Rose Hill. CNN hadn't touched it yet, but it was trending in education threads. And that was enough. I watched from my couch, legs tucked under a blanket, phone in one hand, glass of water in the other. I didn't need to keep refreshing anymore. It was moving on its own. Parent forums lit up like wildfire, calls for an independent investigation, kids being pulled from the fall roster, screenshots of donor cancellation emails. One mom posted a video from her car. We believed in this school, we trusted the headmaster, and we were lied to. The part that really made me smile? The live stream from the front gate. A news van had pulled up, local CBS affiliate. Reporters standing in front of the school's crest sign, mic in hand, anchor voice serious. No comment from school officials yet, but sources confirm. An internal review is underway. Parents and board members are demanding answers. I recognize the security guy pacing behind her, shoulders hunched, clearly trying to wave the cameras off without making it a scene. Press interviews? Canceled. They were supposed to hold a media Q&A at 3. Jameson had prepped for it, probably had a packet full of bullshit statements ready to go. At 2:34, the school posted a 6-line announcement instead. We are aware of the unauthorized release of confidential internal documents. Rose Hill Academy is launching an urgent internal review. No further comments at this time. Translation: We're drowning and no one's steering the ship. Then came the one that hit closest. Elise, the new girl. My replacement, she posted a selfie earlier that morning, smiling in front of the admissions office. Captioned something like, Day 1 at Rose Hill. So honored. Comment section had turned brutal in minutes. By 4 o'clock, the post was gone, replaced with a black square and a note in white font. Taking a short break from socials. Please be kind. I didn't feel good about that part, but I wasn't going to carry it either. She wanted the job, she got the fire with it. My phone buzzed. Hannah, Rose Hill PR, former. What did you do? That was it. No punctuation, no emojis. Just those 4 words, like she'd seen the whole iceberg and realized she'd been standing on the wrong side. I stared at the message, thumb hovering over the keyboard. Then I locked the screen and tossed the phone face down on the coffee table. They didn't get to ask me now. They made their choices. All I'd done was make sure the receipts showed up on time. I didn't check the phone again that night. Didn't need to. The damage was rolling out on autopilot. Every hour brought another headline, another statement, another stiff press release trying to do CPR on a sinking ship. By the next morning, The Rose Hill Foundation for Academic Excellence, the big-name partner they flaunted on every brochure, announced they were formally withdrawing financial and promotional affiliation pending further investigation. That alone was a death knell. The foundation backed their college pipeline, their internship program, half their donor dinners. Gone, just like that. Midday, a trustee leaked an internal memo. Quiet language, but the message was clear. Alumni endowments were being frozen until the board could review ongoing financial exposure. Translation: no more checks. I scrolled through an admissions forum later that evening, just curious. Dozens of parents already pulling applications. One thread said the early action interest pool had dropped by almost 40% in a single day. Then came the final stamp, clean and corporate. The board issued a statement at 5:15. Effective immediately, Headmaster Daniel Jameson will be taking personal leave. Interim leadership will be announced in the coming days. They didn't even try to dress it up with health or family reasons, just personal leave, which we all knew meant you're done. Sit down and shut up before lawyers get involved. I stared at the screen for a while, not smiling, not gloating. I didn't feel like celebrating. I felt still, like the noise had finally shut off after years of static, like the room had finally cleared out and I could breathe without holding it. I didn't post, didn't comment. I'd done what needed doing. That was it. Other people could dissect it, argue over it, spin it, bury it again if they wanted. I wasn't going to follow the noise. For me, it wasn't revenge. It was a release. That place had taken 16 years of my work, my time, my silence, and buried everything under the lie of prestige. I helped build their image because I believed in it. I thought maybe if I stuck around long enough, it'd start becoming the thing it pretended to be. But I was wrong, and now the mask was off. I closed the laptop. No ceremony, no victory music in the background, just quiet. Let them do whatever came next. I'd already done my part. I unplugged the laptop and slid it into the drawer. No ceremony, no second thought. Done. Finn stretched on the rug, let out a grunt like he'd been waiting on me all day. I grabbed his leash and clipped it to his collar. He was already at the door before I had my shoes on. We stepped outside into late summer air, thick but cleaner than it had felt in weeks. No weight on my chest, just quiet. 3 blocks down, my phone buzzed. I ignored it. Another buzz, then a third. I pulled it out and glanced. First one was from a Baltimore reporter, asking if I'd be willing to speak on or off the record. Said they wanted to give voice to the whistleblower. Cute. Second one was an email from a rival school's HR director. Subject line: exploring opportunities, let's talk. And the third was the only one that hit me. A message from a former student. I hadn't heard from him in 5 years. Saw what's happening. I knew someone would finally say it. Thank you. You were always honest with us. I held the phone for a second longer, then dropped it back in my pocket. No replies, no interviews, no tell-all expose, no podcast tour. That wasn't why I did it. I wasn't looking for a stage. I just took my hands off the wheel and let the truth drive itself. We turned down a side street, Finn's nails tapping against the pavement. A breeze caught the edge of my hoodie, and for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was dragging something behind me. They thought they'd erased me, but I never needed to stay in the spotlight. I just stopped protecting their version of the story, and that was enough.